Hello there. Welcome to Knowing Me, Knowing You with Dolly. I am Dolly Asindu. A very happy new year to you. May 2020 bring exceptional blessings to you and your family. As we begin another year and another decade, what are your expectations in terms of your marriage or your relationship with your spouse or your partner? That brings us to our title for today's edition: Change Your Thought, Change Your Marriage. I believe that we have already established or determined on this show that a successful marriage just does not happen. No way. It takes commitment and hard work. Now, we have found that quite often, after the initial honeymoon period of marriage, which for some people may be months or some years, you find that the relationship starts to have what we might call K-leg. And what happens? Your spouse complains about something that you're not doing or doing wrong, and you get very upset. Or something comes up and you flare up for no reason whatsoever. And then you start having this feeling of something is wrong. You start having negative thoughts or thinking negatively towards your spouse or your partner. And it all begins one day with one thought, one negative thought. Now, if you let that negative thought continue, before you know it, you start thinking that way permanently about your partner. And this trend of negative thinking can be very, very dangerous. It can kill your relationship. It can kill the communication between you both, kill the connection, kill love, kill passion. And eventually, it can kill your marriage. In order to have a successful marriage, you need to control your thoughts. If you don't have a problem in this direction, I'm happy for you. Just listen to what we have to say today and keep it in mind as a guide. But if you are already having problems in your marriage, or you think you may be having problems in your marriage, then you need to change your thoughts and change your marriage. For me, the key to changing one's thoughts, which I have used and it has worked for me, are the 4 A's: attention, attitude, action, and assumption. It all starts with attention. And attention is the act of keeping one's mind closely on something. And this something could either be a thing, a person, a situation, or an event. Now, attention could be positive or negative. Whatever you put your attention on, or whatever you give your attention to, for instance, if you give negative attention on a particular thing, it is that thing that you are attracting to yourself. If you put your attention on a particular thing and it's a positive attention, then it is that positive thing that you are attracting to yourself. And that's the way it works. It works the same for everybody. Now let's quickly look at attitude before we take an example. What's attitude? Attitude, the way I say it, is a settled way of thinking or feeling about something. And it's the same thing. It could be a thing, a person, a situation, or an event. Now, the attention you give something, whether negative or positive, informs or builds your attitude towards that thing. Now, let us now take attention and attitude together. Let's say an example. You're the husband and you feel that your wife is constantly disrespecting you. And you say, this woman, This woman does not respect me. This woman does not respect me. I don't like it. It's disrespectful to me. Now, what you're saying, you're looking at it from the negative point. You're saying she does not respect you. Of course she doesn't respect you, but when you start saying, this woman does not respect me, I'm going to do something about it, then that is the negative aspect of it. Now, what would happen from there? Now, you say she disrespects you, and then you have a negative attitude towards her. You have created this negative attitude. You now start saying, I'm going to show this lady. That's a negative attitude. I'm going to deal with her one of these days. She'll see what I'm going to do to her. And then before you know it, it grows. And then you do now go to the next stage, which is action. You take action one day and you slap her, and then she hits you back, and then there's problems. Now, if you took it the other way and say, I love this lady, I want her to respect me more. Now, that is a positive way of thinking about the same thing. So what do? You start thinking about me, maybe I need to do something more. And then you start being more kind to her. You start being more open to her. You go out, you come back, you buy her, say, honey, see what I bought for you. And before you know it, she relaxes. She starts respecting you more. Oh, my darling, oh, my husband, oh, honey me, and all that, baby. All that now comes in because you treated it from the positive point of view. This is where action comes in. Positive attention creates a positive attitude, and a positive attitude attracts positive action. On the other hand, it's the same thing. Negative attention creates negative attitude and also attracts negative action. In the example we just talked about, this gentleman kept focusing on his wife being disrespectful. His attitude was also negative. Why is she disrespectful to me? What can I do? And of course, the action that followed was negative also. So what came back to him was more negativity. So we have to be very, very careful what we place our attention on. Now, there are two sides to every subject: lack or want. Now, if we place our attention on what we want, you find that what you attract is more of what you want, because you place your attention on what you want, a particular thing or a specific thing that you want. Your attitude becomes positive towards that, and the action that follows would also now be positive, because you start thinking about things you can do that will attract that thing that you want. But if you keep looking at things from the point of lack, the same thing, and we're going to look at an example. If you say, I lack this, I lack this, if you look at it from the point of lack, it's a negative point. It's a negative way of placing attention on something. And what you attract is a negative attitude, which you carry along with you, and carry it long enough, you attract negative action. Look at this period. We are talking about children going back to school. And of course, school fees have to be paid for many people in Nigeria today. You are going to be thinking, now, how are you going to handle this? That's what we're talking about here. Are you thinking, wow, I don't have money? When your wife comes and says, oh boy, what are we going to do about the children's school fees this time? He said, I don't know, don't ask me. I don't know. They can stay in the house. I don't have it. They can stay in the house, no problem. That is a negative attention you're placing on it. What will probably happen is you'll be so upset, you'll have a negative attitude, your wife will be upset, and then the action that follows would also be negative. You probably won't have the money and the children will stay at home. Now, if you look at it from the other way, you place your attention on, for instance, Madam comes and says, "Oga, what are we going to do? This children's school is opening next week. We have to pay the children's school fees. And I don't know." And you say, "Well, don't worry about it. We'll pay the children's school fees. They will go to school. They won't stay at home. They will go to school." What happens? You have put your attention on the positive aspect of that same thing that you want. So what happens? Your attitude towards it is, and she says, she goes with you, and that's where it's important for two of you to have the same mind pattern, to think together. And she says, "Okay, it's true, they'll go to school, no problems, they won't stay at home, they'll go to school." What happens? You may not have the cash, but you'll take positive action. You may decide to go and see the head teacher, and the head teacher may say, "Yeah, let's let the child come in. I'll give you a month or two. Pay, as soon as you have the money." That problem is solved because you put a positive attention on that thing that you wanted, and it followed with a positive attitude, and that you started thinking about positive ways, positive action that you now took and made the problem lighter or solve the problem. So let us look at the last A, which is assumption. What does assumption mean? It means accepting something as true or certain, and without proof. You really don't have any proof, but you still know that this thing is true and it is certain. That's assuming, that's assumption. Now, assumption is the last stage of changing your thoughts. It is accepting and acting as if you already have that thing that you want. Let's just say your prayers have been answered by God, and you feel so good about the fact that what you want you have achieved or you have gotten, that you can even feel it, you can smell it, you can touch it. It's so real in your life, and you are very, very grateful for it. You tell God, "Oh, thank you, this problem is solved." You assume that everything is all right. That is what assumption does. So the thing is, you have your positive, you put your positive attention on something, you have a positive attitude, you take positive action towards achieving it, and then you assume that everything is okay, and it is okay. Let's look at this situation. You're a lady, and you feel that there isn't enough intimacy in your relationship with your husband or your partner. For crying out loud, he has not touched you for months. And then you start wondering, what's going on here? This man is doing something outside. He has a girlfriend. That's why he's behaving like this. I am going to find out. I am going to find out. Oh, God help me, I will. And then what do? So you see, your attention has been placed on the negative. Then you assume this attitude. You become paranoid. As soon as he slips off, you run, you pick up his phone, you check through his email, his email of course, you check through his WhatsApp messages, you look at all the messages, you know, when he's talking on the phone, you get to the door and you listen in to find out. You can see how you build up all this negative attitude and negative action that follows. By the time you do all this, you have created a full, complete negative action in your home. And of course, you are assuming that, you know, this is it. Something is going wrong. Now, this is a more positive way of putting attention on the same thing. Now, remember, you're thinking about what you want rather than what you lack. If you put your attention on what you want, you have the right attitude and you attract that thing that you want. It's as simple as that. So for this situation, let's you think about it like this. I love my husband and I want to blow his mind in the other room the way I used to. I want more intimacy in our relationship. So if you're not putting attention on, oh, he has a girlfriend, that does not come in and that would not happen. But you put attention on blowing his mind in the other room and bringing that fire back to your relationship. You find that what you now do is you start having a positive attitude and you start thinking, what action can I take? What can I do to bring back that in our relationship? Then you start wondering, what is it that I'm doing that I wasn't doing before? What am I doing now? Or what was it that I used to do that I don't know, I no longer do? Is it my looks? Have I changed? Because some of us, when we get married, we just say, the man don't marry me now, so I don't need to, do anything else. But that is not right. If you are somebody who uses makeup before he met you and he loves your makeup, then you go back to it. If you are somebody who carried the natural look and he loved that about you, then do that. How are you treating him? Are you paying him attention? Or are you paying him too much attention? When you are putting positive attention on this, your attitude will now be positive and you will start taking positive actions. Naturally, positive actions will come to you that you will take to ensure that you bring back that spice into your relationship. And sometimes, you just surprise him and say, honey, come, I have something to show you in the other room. And, before you know it, that intimacy returns to your relationship. So the thing is, if you do not want that thing in your marriage, don't put your attention on it. Place your attention on what you want. Have the positive attitude that goes with it, and the right action to take will come to you. And of course, you will assume at the end of the day that everything is fine, and it will be fine. So, now let us conclude by saying, as we begin year 2020 and another decade, change your thoughts and change your marriage using the 4 A's of attention, attitude, action, and assumption. And you'll have yourself a very happy married life. Today's quotable is, positive thoughts attract positive emotions, such as joy, love, gratitude, peace, and hope, and ultimately a happy marriage. So that's been Knowing Me, Knowing You with Dolly. I am Dolly Asindo. Remember, today we looked at change your thoughts, change your marriage. If anything we've said today or shared today has been good for you, or you think you have something to take home, then please share it with your close ones, your relatives, and your friends. And don't forget to subscribe. For now, let's do this some other time, okay?